Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the perfect 2016 World Team Table Tennis Championships in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm Adam Bobrow, and with me, Michael Anderson. We are about to get into the second singles match where Petrissa SOLJA in red will be representing Germany. And the right-handed player right here, Haeun, 22 years old, world rank number 11, the standing mixed doubles world champion. In Suzhou last year, took the title, was Chu Xin, left-handed pen holder. So, Michael, you've had a chance to watch a lot of the juniors play, and we've got two quite young players here, Haeun, 22, Petrissa SOLJA, 21. What are your thoughts about this head-to-head matchup?
You know, first time I met Haeun was in Cape Town, South Africa, where she came flying into the World Cadet Challenge as a 13-year-old Korean without a coach or anything. And she was in the training camp that we were staging before that competition. And I remember we had a practice tournament during that time, and before that she was training and so on. I thought there was nothing with her really, but then practice competition started. She won every match because she didn't miss. She played the ball on the table all the time, so I thought that a clever player, and I followed her very closely since then, and it's you know, very rewarding actually to see young players come up and being able to follow them through the junior career and come up now to the adult level of table tennis and play for the national team and so on. So, but you see there's such a close connection between being talented at that age and learning the game quickly internationally and so on, and get into competitions and then play at this level. So Petrissa SOLJA the same. She was playing, both these players actually playing in Singapore Youth Olympic Games 2010, representing the country. So now we're here 6 years later, and they've already established world-class players.
It's interesting how a lot of top juniors sometimes drop off and they're playing so well. You're like, oh, this person's going to be the next threat to the Chinese. This person's going to be in the world top 10, and then they barely break into the top 100. Next thing you know, they're not even playing for the national team. But both of these players right now, the top on their team. So we're looking at the two who have made it. SOLJA starting off with the serve. One thing I will say, I love watching Petrissa SOLJA play. She's got so much ammunition on both sides and a very versatile backhand. Some players, they have a sweet spot where you don't want to hit it for their backhand. SOLJA's sweet spot is pretty huge on the backhand side. Another example right there, covering the middle with the inside-out shot.
And I think for her, it's a question of like more of physical maturity. I mean, you could see in the beginning that she had all the shots in the world. She didn't have the footwork. But now it's that part is slowly improving, and she's such a strong girl. So she has that, you know, support with her body, and that makes you, especially on the backhand side, being able to play shots all over the table. You may feel that, but sometimes players do too many mistakes because the core strength is not there on the backhand side.
Right. Yeah, this is why you see six-packs and strong legs. You've got the difference in arm strength from side to side, as Michael was just showing me. Talked yesterday about Masataka Morizono and asymmetry and body strength. But I really do think that for Petrissa SOLJA, her wrist is just so strong and so versatile. She can generate a lot of spin, change the angle of the shot at any moment. Look at that. There was no, I mean, until the moment she committed and jumped out, it was just like that was not a predictable shot. She's played backhands the other way already, both corners, all with the backhand. She hasn't even gotten her forehand into play. As far as not coming into play, Haeun still hasn't gotten a point.
1-6.
Okay, thanks Haeun for that. Now Haeun starts slow a lot. Yesterday, saw her with some tough matches that looked like they were going to be a blowout from the start. And she just sort of settled in, adjusted to the game of her opponent a little bit later in game one.
I think with her, she's kind of a little bit needs to come into her rhythm. She needs to find that slow-moving game, but it's so safe, obviously, and then change it up. But that's the matchup here, I think, is quite favorable for Petrissa SOLJA, though. She can kind of pick her spots and just wait for that, and then she has, of course, the superior power in her shots here. So it should be, I believe, a good matchup for Petrissa SOLJA.
I agree. I think from a power standpoint, there's just a lot more wrist and initiative coming out of Petrissa SOLJA. Young Haeun tends to play racket up, a little bit more blocking and passive play. And Young Haeun, as you mentioned, doesn't miss. In general, she doesn't miss a lot. But SOLJA's making it look otherwise out here. She's varying up her spins so well.
But look also on the team match concept here and how much it changes pressure, because right now you don't want to get down 2-0 for the Korean team. So always by losing the first single, you're not playing on a 0-1 position in the team match, and I think that can be tough to handle mentally. And obviously she's not been in the court at all in the first game.
Well, first game is over. We're going to be on to game 2. Stick around to see how the scores turn out.
이게 마음의 정리가 먼저 돼야 돼. 알았어? 자신 있게 하는 게 제일 중요하다. 자, 괜찮아. 자신 있게 해.
Interesting in the break here to watch the two faces. One was so confident, one was really, I would call it a sad face. I don't know what this competition you're running in the ITTF media department with this face, but look at the Young Haeun. That was really not a very happy face.
Oh, the emoji competition, yes. Yes, it's been both men and women. For those of you curious to see a little bit of the personalities of the players, some fun videos, ITTF creating a lot of content on the official ITTF YouTube channel, ITTF Facebook page. You can see the emoji competition. Back edge of the table for Young Haeun.
It all starts with changing something, in my opinion. Starts with service placement and service execution. And here was this hook version, scoring actually both points for Young Haeun. So it's kind of interesting, and you change just a small detail and you get those easy points, and maybe your confidence comes back just like that.
And one thing we haven't touched on yet, the advantage of being left-handed. Left-handed player is much more rare in table tennis. Sort of flips the game. When you're a right-handed player, usually your opponent is right-handed. So suddenly a cross-court shot is no longer to the back or to the forehand, it's to the backhand. Just have to think a little bit more tactically against the left-handed player. Another break off the edge. That's 2 for Young Haeun so far this game.
Such a slow opening there, and she doesn't get her technique in order. She's relaxing her arm to get better timing, but so that's for her. She needs to play the ball in front of her body, and often she's very good when the opponents are putting a lot of speed in the ball also. She plays well off the speed, and SOLJA is a different player. She has more power and more spin, but the normal speed game is a little different.
Spent a lot of time talking with Jill yesterday about predictability being the death of your match. If you can be unpredictable, the opponent's going to have a very difficult time. And Petrissa SOLJA doesn't quite play a game that others have. I mean, her game is pretty unique as far as the timing and the versatility. She can do a whole lot of different things. She's very adaptable in her game. For example, right there, she was playing more of a blocking game on the forehand side.
And what a nice forearm push also down to the middle, which is really Young Haeun's weak point also, because there she gets no power whatsoever. So you can find that spot. Sometimes she goes in and covers that with backhand. Sometimes she's lifting it with forehand. So that was tactically smart by Petrissa also. So you bring that into an occasion, you have a good situation.
Young Haeun's a little bit taller than some of the other women playing, especially from Korea. She plays like a very tall player. There's an emoji for you from Sabina Winter. But yeah, Young Haeun, very wide stance, probably about 5'6", 165 centimeters. Yeah, that backhand shot changing a placement right there. And on the right still, Christine Silbereisen. Every time I look at her, I just think champion after that match yesterday.
7-5.
We don't see too many of those miss. Over the table, sort of a soft push from Yang Haeun. Yang Haeun does more self-coaching than almost any player I've seen. I think her and Li Jiao. At least visibly. Of course, we can't really know what's happening in the head of every player out there.
She also, the mental makeup often stays with a young player going through. I think she has this high level of expectation on her own game, basically. That's it. You know, you have to, the self-talk needs to be positive also most of the time. But she falls into that kind of player that also are, as you say, heads down, a little bit depressed at times when she's not playing well.
Smart placement right on the body. We haven't seen the crossover point be trouble too much for SOLJA. With Yang Haeun's pace, the arc on that ball, you're right, it's not quite so aggressive. SOLJA has more of a strong drive. Yang Haeun's just sort of spinning it up. And a soft flip over the table, just enough to break the rhythm and tie it up. You talked about positivity versus getting down on yourself. I think it's easy to be your own worst critic or harshest critic.
Timeout.
And a timeout now for Yang Haeun. Coach Shep there in the corner.
You know, look at the German team though. Like these are, relatively speaking, I call them young girls, but 25 and under, and also Nina Mittelham there. Also pretty funny player, the young German girl who is quite a spectacular player actually. She's been struggling a little bit with her game since breaking through on the German Open, where she played fantastic, I think 2 years ago, and then struggling with some injuries. But they seem to have fun on the bench also, and in a team competition that kind of spills over to the players stepping into the court, because there's so much difference playing a team competition when you have that team spirit.
Yeah, it's a fine balance. It's like, if you're having so much fun and it seems that nobody's caring, that's different. But if you feel like you really like the people you're playing with and playing for, it motivates you differently. This is why a lot of sports teams growing up have sort of something like a hell week, where they really just get you on the verge of, you know, sickness through physical fitness, almost like a hazing period, so that everybody bonds and feels like they're in it together for the long run. You've survived together as a team. And that is a pumped up SOLJA right there. Serve comes a little long, takes advantage of it. It's the most confident forehand we've seen on a service receive yet.
I'm just surprised over that service placement. She went down to the middle short with that hook serve in the beginning that gave her all kinds of opportunities.
Outstanding shot to finish that. SOLJA really recovered a few wide shots, got right back in, and I was thinking this is SOLJA's point. But Yang Haeun steals it with that ball right off the side of the table.
But then be happy, my Korean friend. Be happy, you know. That face there, that's such a crucial point, you know. Like, and then get this one up and going and show that you're in the match.
Yeah, I think turning intensity into positive energy is a very tricky thing for many to do, but very important as well. We've got game point here, and not just game point, but game 2 point for a 2-0 lead. Oh, a break off the top of the net and the apology, but yes, you can see the negativity. Yang Haeun's gonna have to figure out how to turn that energy into positive energy, and we'll see if she can in game 3 after this commercial break.
자자자 자신 있게 자신 있게.
And as we come back for game 3, Petrissa SOLJA leading 2-0, just barely escaping game 2. Real trouble the whole way through. Haeun was leading a good portion of the game. There's that versatile backhand covering the middle, manages to spin it up from the middle of the body.
And there's, as you indicated, the favoring, maybe not favoring and playing as a left-hander, because that ball is different down to the middle. It's way different for Haeun against a left-hander. Comes in a different pace and different speed. So,
Michael, I want to buy stock in Petrissa SOLJA's backhand right now. Really, I mean, she's just, it's on the up and up. It's going places. I feel like definitely about 60-70% of the points coming from backhand on SOLJA. In this game, 100% of them, if I remember correctly.
But it's like this pure strength, and also being a left-hander, you find on so deep on that and so quick. So it's not so, it's a move that you cannot see. It's difficult. She can go down the line or cross like that, same kind of movement. So that backhand becomes so much better in that case, and that you don't see where it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, the sweet spot, not just in 2 dimensions on a flat wall, but all around, even in front of her, she manages to make the backhands effective. First point for Haeun. Very focused. You know, looking at the rest of the matches here, Michael, the 3rd singles match, Irina Ivanchan and Park Young-suk. I favor Irina Ivanchan in that. I mean, Germany sort of has to win in 3. I think it's going to be real tricky if they get to a 4th singles.
Haeun's chance here is to challenge SOLJA deep forehand. There's no doubt. She has to work exactly like that with his forehand. That was a good selection by her, going quick down the line. But also with her backhand, she has to be stronger cross openings to score points out on Petrissa SOLJA's deep forehand side.
Right, I think taking advantage of the slightly slower feet. Yeah, really the short game, SOLJA's just too strong. I mean, identifying where the weakness is, as you mentioned, the wide forehand. SOLJA's just going to have a little bit more trouble getting her strength behind that shot. She's going to become more passive and sacrifice her position at the table, so Haeun can then step in and be more threatening and powerful. That was some real spin from Haeun. I know she's got the backhand in her repertoire. We just haven't seen that real spinny, whippy backhand yet this match.
Set up by the service though, so she got that opportunity, like a preset kind of arrangement where she served as she thought the ball was coming and ready, and then a strong attack at that time.
Oh, back edge again for SOLJA. Man, it just got silent in here with that shot. A few tables being played in the arena, so you'll hear applause at different random times. Not much Haeun can do about that.
Exactly there where she needs to go quickly now. It's a really challenge that forehand, deep forehand corner for Petrissa SOLJA.
Once Haeun starts to soften up in her blocking game, it just allows SOLJA too much time and she becomes too threatening, too powerful. I think Haeun, as you mentioned, has the comfortability with the fast-paced game. She's going to need to take the ball off the bounce and redirect it low and fast if possible. Strong service placement, short to the backhand side. Now the score is a lot closer than it feels like. It feels like SOLJA's been running away with this game, but it's a 2-point game now.
Yeah, no doubt. She's been dominating the whole match, so quite amazing actually to see 7-5 on the scoreboard. We think you've won every single point on this this game.
And it just seems like Haeun hasn't really found the timing with their backhand. All the shots, for the most part, have been relatively just lukewarm, mid-speed attacks. There we go, a little bit more pace, and the placement again wide to the forehand, as you mentioned, Michael.
One thing with Young Haeun's backhand also is that sometimes she drops it when she attacks and holds it very high when she's blocking. So in between, there's a little easy to see sometimes what's going to come.
There we go. That time she got a little backswing and really snapped through it. The pace was more than SOLJA had seen. I think only on a few occasions has she seen a backhand that powerful. Timeout called on the German side by Coach Shep.
Yeah, I like that timeout because that particular rally just caught her. That way she's best. This tempo game is so easy for SOLJA also, even though she's played very smart so far and has all the game in the world. Just to now try to rush it a little bit and then you just increase the speed of the ball and try to finish it, and then you get speed balls back, basically. That's it. So just be patient with the placement and talk about spin instead of speed.
Yeah, and I know you said you liked that timeout, and I agree with you. I think this is a good time. It's interesting. Players come out there, and a lot of the time when you ask them, they're playing 0-0 on the scoreboard. They're focusing on every point, like it's dead even if they're down, whether they're ahead. But getting your player while she still has the lead, taking the active timeout, when she does look over at the scoreboard, there should be a feeling of confidence. It should be a positive, experience to notice the score, even if you're playing as if it's 0-0. And I think it also shows that Coach Shep isn't afraid to intervene when she feels free and realizes, yeah, it's game 3, it's a 2-0 lead, but this is important to take the match right here.
7-8.
Both players playing better at that point, in my opinion. Young Haeun was really fighting to spin and keep the pressure on, and SOLJA pushed into a passive game, blocking, redirecting, looking for the opportunity to put on the pace.
The good thing with the timeout now also, SOLJA has 2 serves to work with.
Yes. Difficult ball, looked like a little bit of a break. Young Haeun had her finger up in apology.
A lot of spin on that ball and just dropped right behind the net almost.
Now, we haven't talked about this yet, but head-to-head they've played 4 times on the World Tour. Petrissa SOLJA has lost to 3 of them, only won 25% of the matches. But as a match point now, 2 of them to take her 2nd victory over Young Haeun, world rank number 11. SOLJA's just lining up top players and taking names and taking them down.
That's also, but you see that's the point. She's elevated her game. She's playing very well. Confidence level is very high, and she's also getting rewarded because she's beating good players. So there's a development in her game that's quite astonishing.
It's a big forehand, strong setup. Low to the net, short on the forehand side. It's a smart combination. Get SOLJA in over the table and then loop it deep to the backhand. A little risky, though, because with the short serve, if SOLJA gets in quickly, it's going to be easy for her to keep short.
Also, I would look for the length of the serve now from SOLJA and try to attack.
And there it is, 11-9, 3 straight games. SOLJA pulling through clutch right here to give a 2-0 lead to Germany. Remember, Germany's the number 7 seed in women, and the number 6 seeded Korea down in trouble right now. Yes, Richard Prause on his feet. A happy Prause is a happy Germany. And right now, Germany's quite happy, as you can see. It's going to come down to Irina Ivanchan in the 3rd spot versus Korea's 3rd, Park Young-suk, just after this.